breeze and stormy is the predictions for this game in Merida. It is Uruguay against Peru. It's coming up to around about 6 o'clock in Venezuela. We're building up to the big kickoffs, and the teams are in, I can tell you. We have the teams for this game. Let's start with Uruguay, and a familiar formation as Tavares likes to pick this 4-3-3 formation. He's now introduced it to all of the national sides from under 15 upwards. Look for the partnership of Stoyanov and Vicente Sanchez, looking to support Diego Forlan up front for Uruguay. Gus Poyet is alongside me. Diego Forlan, their main man, is he, Gus?
Yeah, because you know, he had the opportunity to play in Manchester. Everybody knows him very well in England, and he went to Villarreal, and his first year was outstanding. I say he was top scorer with Thierry Henry in Europe, and yes, everybody's going to be looking for him. He's very good moving, you know, around. He doesn't stay up in there. He's not going to be the typical number 9 staying, but he can score, as you can see.
So that's Uruguay. What about Peru? And it looks like the coach Uribe has changed his formation. Usually they go 4-4-2. That's going to be slightly different. Claudio Pizarro now of Chelsea, Laurie, looking to shine for Peru.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, good chance for Chelsea fans to have an early look at him. You know, got great pedigree from Bayern Munich. As I say, a free transfer, we think, don't he, to Chelsea. So hopefully he'll do better than the last one from Bayern Munich that has done. But he's got goals in him, and it will be their main man for Peru. And as I say, probably playing 3 at the back to try and keep this game as tight as they can, because, as I say, Uruguay are the favourites from this group, and they won't want to lose the first game, Peru.
We're in the city of gentlemen, Merida. It's the home to the highest cable car. Who will climb the highest, though, in the opening game of Copa America 2007? Let's go out there in a couple of minutes' time to join our commentary team for this one. It'll be Jerry Armstrong and Tony Jones.
Well, good evening, everyone. You joined us just as the Peruvian national anthem was being played and sung with great gusto. Claudio Pizarro, now of Chelsea, wearing the captain's armband here for Peru. The first game of the first ever Copa to be held in Venezuela, bringing together 2 teams for whom this competition has brought limited success in recent times. Uruguay have certainly performed far better than Peru, but this evening they're minus Alvaro Recoba, who was injured in training over the weekend. It means that Fabian Stoyanov of Deportivo La Coruña in Spain will be playing up front for Uruguay. Diego Forlan, of course, we know all about him. It's the opening game. It's in Group A of the 2007 Copa America. Uruguay against Peru. Later, of course, the host Venezuela in action against Bolivia. The stadium in Merida not filled to capacity. Has been raining in Venezuela today. Temperature this evening expected to be around 15 degrees at the end of the game. And Jerry Armstrong alongside me. There's a lot of anticipation, expectation perhaps, that Uruguay might be able to produce something special during this tournament, but the Peruvian coach has been upset about some remarks that Oscar Tabares has made about his team. He says Peru are great going forward, but defensively they're rather vulnerable.
if you were the coach of Peru, you'd probably be upset as well, Tony. But no, if you look at the two teams on paper, you can see Oscar Tabarez is right. You know, his side is a more solid side. They've got the better players, the more class players. And saying that, if Jefferson Farfan and Guerrero and Claudio Pizarro up front produce the goods, there could be an upset. But if it was a betting man, I would definitely say Uruguay are the favourites.
Uruguay, who 3 years ago had an interesting route through to the quarter-finals. They began with a 2-2 draw against Mexico. They defeated Ecuador, then they lost against Argentina, but they did qualify as one of the better third-place finishers. They were eliminated on penalties by Brazil in the semi-finals. It's been a time of rebuilding for their coach, for Peru, minus, of course, Nobby Solano here. Nobby Solano retired from international football, but the coach, Ubere, has been putting him under a bit of pressure, suggesting that he might be able to return for the World Cup qualifying campaign. And this is perhaps one of the most significant of the Copa America competitions, because immediately on the back of this, qualification for South Africa begins for the teams in South America. It's a huge qualifying program, and they've got to get their act together very quickly.
It is, but there's a good point made by Laurie Sanchez earlier about players. Most of them start pre-season training on the 1st of July, which is not too far away. And I think there's a lot of players and probably a lot of coaches are back in Europe are reluctant to let their stars play. It's different for the likes of up front there, Diego Forlan. His season's only just finished, what, a week ago? And they will not kick off the season in Spain until the 3rd week in August, so he's got a little bit more time to prepare. But certainly for the European-based players, everything starts very, very soon.
There is now a massive worldwide audience for this competition, and inevitably there's a slight delay before kickoff, making sure that the broadcasters worldwide are tuned in to the kickoff time in Venezuela. First time that the competition has been held in Venezuela, a country where they prefer to play baseball, believe it or not, although the progression of their football team has meant that there's a lot of expectation about what Venezuela will be able to achieve during this Copa America. 42nd time that the competition has been held. Uruguay 14 times winners, a success rate exactly the same as Argentina, regarded as the favourites this time, ahead even of Brazil. And we are underway. The 2007 Copa America. Peru, of course, in the white, Uruguay in the blue shirts and black shorts. Uruguay, who completed their preparations with a friendly international against Australia. It was a game which they won 2-1. The winner following a mistake by the Middlesbrough goalkeeper, Brad Jones. First meeting of the two teams since Australia famously knocked Uruguay out of the World Cup, that playoff before Germany 2006. Peru deciding to play 3 at the back here. Roberto Rodriguez of Braga of Portugal, one of the 3. Uruguay now dominated by European-based players.
Yeah, they are. I mean, as I said earlier, it's a great squad. If you look at the players from Zaragoza, from Fenerbahce, Schalke, Celta Vigo, Monaco, I mean, they're quality players. And again, they've got a history of victories in this competition. That's why they're favourites for me tonight.
Venezuelans in the crowd already suggesting to both these teams that they should get a move on, put a bit more pace into the game. Both just sizing each other out. Time of progression for Uruguay. Opportunity for Peru to press a few more bodies forward. Cluster of 6 there on the edge of the Uruguay penalty area. It will be a corner kick, this. inevitably some early anxiety.
That was a quality free kick the last time, Tony. I tell you, keep delivering ball like that into the box, it's going to be dangerous.
The Elter has made his way forward from the back. Pizarro also trying to make his presence felt. By Vicente Sanchez. Pablo Garcia has just been relegated from La Liga in Spain, along with Fabian Canobio, both with Celta Vigo.
Yeah, they played some good football last season. I was very surprised Celta Vigo went down, and certainly Pablo Garcia, ex-Osasuna, ex-Real Madrid player, anchorman in midfield. Very important to this Uruguay side. As is Fabiano Canobio. He's an attacking midfield player who gets you goals. And I'm sure that's what Oscar Tabarez is looking for tonight from him.
Canobio, who hasn't scored for his country, hasn't featured too many times for the full international team. He made his debut in a disastrous World Cup qualifier. It was a game that Uruguay lost 5-0 ahead of the Copa in 2004. There's a suggestion of a handball there by Jefferson Farfan, who's just won another title in the Netherlands with PSV Eindhoven. By Rodriguez, Alberto Rodriguez, that is. Dario Rodriguez playing at left back for Uruguay. Peru with Pizarro and Paulo Guerrero, the two up front. Pizarro having just made that move from Bayern Munich to Chelsea. Guerrero was a Bayern junior before making the switch to Hamburg in the German Bundesliga. Swept in by Dario Rodriguez. Uruguay began ended their preparations with that success over Australia. They've had a good run of fixtures actually since Tabarez El Maestro took over as coach. Second spell in charge. The referee this evening is from Paraguay. He was one of the officials who was at the World Cup in Germany last summer. Opportunity for Peru to test the Uruguayan defence, but some pushing going on in there. Pizarro getting involved, as he did 3 years ago when he was dismissed in one of the first phase games.
It's Diego Lugano he's involved with there, but it's all about the quality delivery. There's 2 or 3 free kicks in this opening 6 minutes, Tony, for Peru, and great ball in the box. There's Lugano, Diego Lugano. And obviously, Claudio Pizarro is the target man up front. Good in the air.
Third time that Pizarro's featured in the Copa America. Scored in the opening game 3 years ago against Bolivia when Peru were 2 goals down. Pizarro scored from the penalty shot, and then Palacio made it 2-2. Also 2 down against Colombia in the first phase before drawing 2-2. Nobby Solana, one of the goal scorers that night. Stadium just a bit bereft of atmosphere at the moment. It holds the best part of 43,000. Venezuela have invested heavily in the infrastructure to make sure that this tournament runs smoothly, but we heard from Tim Vickery before the game that they have had problems with the ticketing allocations, particularly using the internet to distribute and to collect the money for tickets. Forward again by Boutron.
Sort of nervy start, isn't it, Tony? Up in 8 minutes, the two sides, as you say, nobody wanting to make a big mistake in the opening stages, just settling down. Pablo Garcia's left foot starts to construct something for Uruguay.
Now there might be possibilities for Uruguay. Here's Forlan. First opportunity that Diego Forlan has had. Scored the equaliser in that friendly international which Uruguay had against Australia in Sydney at the beginning of June, a game that they won 2-1, Uruguay.
Well, I'm hoping the ball took a nasty bubble there for Diego Forlan's sake. It was a half a chance, but he was way off the mark, wasn't he?
How much do you think they will miss Rico? But he didn't get too many opportunities with Inter Milan during the Serie A season. If anything, it's Peru have made the better start here.
Yeah, desperate defending from Diego Lugano once again. Good pressing from Peru. You're going to miss Recoba certainly from dead ball situations, Tony. Alvaro Recoba's got a sweet strike of the ball, and he might have a contribution some stage maybe later on in the game.
To be picked out inside that Uruguayan penalty area. Still no real energy or urgency about the way in which these two teams have started this Copa America. Diego, another of the Spanish contingent in this Uruguayan team. 5 from Spain in the starting lineup.
I still think Real Madrid might have made a mistake letting Diego sign for Zaragoza.
Zaragoza ended the season in 6th place in La Liga. Just missed out on UEFA Champions League qualifying. They've had to settle for a place in the UEFA Cup, but still regarded as progress for Zaragoza.
I think they had a decent season, as did Diogo. He was one of their better players. Likes to get forward, big lad. Didn't make any progress there.
Two question marks about Diogo's temperament. He picked up that 5-game suspension, of course, following a fight with Sevilla's Luis Fabiano.
He scored in that match, and then he gets sent off in the last minute.
Diogo's clearance. For Diego Perez, who's currently with Monaco in France. Pizarro trying to break through. Suddenly Uruguay able to pick up the pace. Here's Forlan. The shot was deflected, and it's been deflected out for a corner kick.
Well, Diego Forlan, Tony, seems to have a shoot on sight policy. It did take a deflection. It looked like it was on target anyway, but it's a little bit better from Uruguay's point of view. Here's the strike, long way out, but he packs a lot of power into it, comes off the knee of the defender.
Boutron, the goalkeeper, watchful. Forlan with a terrific goal-scoring record at international level. He's got 12 goals in 36 appearances for his country. Uruguay trying to be inventive. Sanchez just unable to keep the ball in play. Vicente Sanchez, who's playing his club football in Mexico. far more experience, particularly in midfield. Peru desperately trying to get Alberto Solano to return for World Cup qualifying, and including 39-year-old Juan Carlos Barthela in their midfield this evening. His first Copa America at the age of 39. Fafa. It is again. Palillo.
He couldn't keep it in. I think first blood for me is going to the coach, Julio Cesar Uribe, because his formation seems a lot more adventurous. You got the three up front, and every time they get it, they're causing problems to the Uruguayan defence. And Uruguay still haven't settled down yet. And for me, all the early pressure's coming from Peru.
His second spell in charge, he was dumped by Peru after the World Cup qualifiers in 2002. He was replaced then by the Brazilian Paulo Autuori. He's already been hounded by the tabloid press apparently in Peru as well. They were upset that he went out and had a drink with one or two of his colleagues after a 2-0 defeat by Japan in his first game in charge. The Federation subsequently fined him, said that they purely fined him because he'd initially denied the allegations. It's agreed that he was out relaxing, but they were upset apparently that first of all he said, "I wasn't out."
It's all right for the press to go out and have a drink, but not all right for the coaches. Is that what it was?
Very true. As we well know, sometimes they do things very differently in South America. Previous coach Autuori was called before Congress to explain the poor results in World Cup qualifying last time around. Even though his own federation were very supportive. The government demanded more, wanted further success. Peru have been a bit short of success in recent times. Dario Rodriguez has scored a wonderful goal for Uruguay at the World Cup in Korea and Japan. Left-footed volley against Denmark. Last time that Uruguay featured at the World Cup finals.
That's a high tackle on Diego Godin.
Just 21 years of age. Playing for Nacional. He's thought to be the next to make the move perhaps to Europe. Under 20 team who did well at the South American Championships 2 years ago. Dario Rodriguez now. Real strength whenever he has the opportunity to get forward. Pedro Garcia has been dispossessed. On by Forlan. Maybe wanted to do too much himself then.
He looks very positive in that final third, very determined, looking to get a strike in. Good defending from Peru. We've got to get a little bit more support for Diego Forlan. Got to see more of Vicente Sanchez and Fabian Stoyanov.
Stoyanov, who's been brought into the starting lineup because of the injury that Alvaro Recoba picked up in training at the weekend. Recoba, who missed the tournament 3 years ago. As did Chef Anton, who didn't even make the squad this time because of a troubled season with Sevilla. Diego Perez. With time to put his foot on the ball. Helped on by Pizarro looking again for his partner in attack, Guerrero. Uruguay now showing that they do possess plenty of pace. Perez in the middle, Forlan also in there. The final ball into that penalty area has repeatedly been disappointing.
Yeah, and again, it was good play initially from Vicente Sanchez as we watched Diego Forlan once again, but the final ball, as you say, Tony, you've got to get some service in there. Still haven't really settled down, Uruguay. Peru have certainly settled the better of the two sides for me.
So often it's said that the opening game of a tournament can be the most difficult to predict. Those teams very cagey early on. Everybody perhaps too worried about making a mistake. Rodriguez is seeing a bit more of the ball now. Carovia looking again for Forlan.
Well, Stoyanov wins the throw-in. Oh, sorry, corner kick.
Uruguay now doing a bit more press. Lugano's gone forward. Very nearly came through to Dario Rodriguez. It was a presentable chance in the end.
Yeah, all the set plays, all the free kicks and what have you have proved very important. Most of the best opportunities have come from him. Well, Rodriguez didn't even see an awful lot of the ball. His view was being blocked by Juan Carlos Batalar. He just sticks his leg out. Unfortunately, it goes over the crossbar. It was a half a chance.
That's just reminding you of the format of the competition. There are 3 groups of 4. The top 2 automatically go through into the quarterfinals, plus the 2 best third-place teams. There's the route through to the quarterfinals for Uruguay 3 years ago when the tournament was played in Peru.
Actually won it twice in the Copa America, which is very creditable.
It doesn't compare with Uruguay, however. 14 times winners, as many successes as Argentina.
Yeah.
Last time they won it was back in 1995, but despite their struggles in World Cup qualifying, their record in the Copa since then hasn't been too bad. They were semi-finalists 3 years ago, as we mentioned, and also in 2001, runners-up in 99 when it was a biannual tournament. By Vialta. Vicente Sanchez. He's got Dario Rodriguez for company. Rather isolated. Now he's got some help. With plenty of possession so far. Haven't seen too much, however, of Jefferson Farfan, but he's on the ball at the moment. He's given it away.
Yeah, it's good pressing. Forces the error from Farfan. And I think that's what Uruguay's got to do more of. You know, certainly when the ball's in the Peru final third, they close down much quicker, I think, than Uruguay.
Dario Rodriguez. Effort, which wasn't likely to trouble Buitron. He's letting fly.
That's Diego Perez from a long way out. Didn't really get hold of it, Tony, and I think the goalkeeper, Leo Buitron, had it covered.
third Copa. He made his international debut in the competition in 2001. Success that Uruguay enjoyed against Bolivia. Has gone forward. Pizarro on the shoulder of Guerrero.
It's excellent defending from Pablo Garcia, who's dropped in to support the defence. Good header, referee spots the foul on him. And so far all the main action, Tony, is coming the opening 23 minutes from free kicks, corner kicks. Good delivery in. Not an awful lot from open play.
El Maestro got it right. Oscar Tabaret, the Uruguayan coach. Said to Julio Uribe. He said that Peru were okay going forward, but defensively perhaps they had one or two vulnerabilities. Uruguay very solid in defence, but now they could be put under pressure.
Thing is, they are playing with three centre-backs, Peru, tonight. Acasiete, Villata and Rodriguez, but every time Uruguay get the ball and they're pushing forward in numbers, the two wide midfield players, Calaquillo and Walter Vilches, drop in, make a 5, and they make it tough for them.
Diego Perez. Stoyanov. Done by Vicente Sanchez.
There's one of the wide right midfield players coming back in. That's a poor clearance, a temper clearance from John Calaquillo.
Calaquillo slip. Will Peru be punished now by Uruguay? Rodriguez was asking whether or not Uruguay should have had a free kick then. Pablo Garcia now seeing a lot more of the ball in the centre of midfield for Uruguay. Here's Perez. Now it's Stoyanov. Garcia again. Rodriguez. Farfan. Now Pizarro. Strong run by the skipper. Good defending as well.
Well, that was a really important challenge there from Diego Godin. He was the last man. Clever play here initially from Claudio Pizarro. And good cover from Diego Godin, the last defender.
Farfan, of course, to take this corner kick. Threatened to trouble the Uruguayan defence again.
Strange thing, it's Acasiete who's up jumping for the ball, but it's the central midfield, defensive central midfield player jumping with him, Pablo Garcia.
And again by Farfan. That's a much better ball. Peru have taken the lead. A blur of bodies at our far post. Calaquillo was diving in there. Uruguay struggling to get the ball away from the initial corner kick, and Peru have punished them. Coach is absolutely delighted, and you can see here that Carini was slow across the face of goal. And it's Villata who's got the opening goal of this Copa America, and it's been scored by Peru.
Well, what you have to ask is, how has Miguel Villalta got a free header at the far post? They got good ball in once again. We've said about the quality of the delivery. And poor defending, I think, from Uruguay. They're going to ask questions. That's a dive, definite dive from Stoyanov.
Just listen to the rumble of noise now around this stadium. Nobody could quite believe that Peru had taken the lead then. What's the response to be from Uruguay? Is Stoyanov looking to make progress down this near side touchline?
Well, when he was playing his football for Deportivo La Coruña last season, he looked quick, he looked incisive in that final third. And he looks as if he's still jet-lagged to me.
Villalta with the opening goal of this tournament, the opening goal for Peru. Stoyanov's cross. Hasty and hurried, and Uruguay still struggling to find any real fluency during this first half.
Well, you have to say that it's not coming against the run of play. For me, Peru did all the pushing and probing and prompting in the opening 28 minutes, and I think deservedly have taken the lead.
There's going to be an aerial threat inside that penalty area with Villalta and Caliacchio both going forward. To secure a draw against Mexico in their opening fixture 3 years ago. They're behind here now against Peru. It's a goal which has brought the crowd to life, but it hasn't brought the required response from Uruguay so far.
It's a poor free kick. We've had some decent deliveries into the box in the opening half hour, but that was a poor one.
Expected from Uruguay at this tournament, because since Tabarez took over as coach, they've played 12 fixtures, they've won 9 of them, they've lost just 2. First one was against Georgia, and they also lost a fixture against Venezuela back in September of last year. It's an impressive record, but of course friendlies count for nothing when you reach a tournament like this.
Yeah. Just wonder how well prepared Peru are and how well prepared Uruguay are at the moment. Oh, it's a positive call from the goalkeeper. Good throw there to come and claim that one. But this is the goal again, and that's the point I'm making. He's got a free header. He's a centre half, Miguel Villalta. Little short one. There's a lot of blue shirts in there, but nobody seems to be picking him up. And he's got him behind the last defender, and it's poor defending. It's got to be rectified. But he wanted to win the ball more than anyone else.
Stoyanov. Struggling to find any room against Casete. Casete will be playing in Spain's La Liga next season. He's currently with Almeida, who've been promoted from the Segunda, the second division. She's trying to get in there. Was telling the South American press that he wanted to rest after the end of the Bundesliga season, but certainly doing his best to inspire Peru, wearing the captain's armband. His international goal scoring record isn't the best. He's only scored 11 at international level.
He's still a good target man. He holds the ball up well. He's a threat. And certainly in the opening stages, in the opening third of the game, they've taken the lead, and it's definitely with the run of play.
By Farfan, here's Pizarro. Oh, cheekily done. They're following up, and they've got a second goal. Paulo Guerrero. Farfan with the through ball, and it's been ruled out. He can't believe it.
Well, I'd like to know what that's for.
Extraordinary. Stoyanov. Here's Perez. Well, if Uruguay do get an equaliser now, there will be 1 or 2 complaints from the Peruvians, because they were sure then that they'd established a 2-goal lead. You saw the smile on Guerrero's face, and it was a smile which disappeared. There was a look of complete disbelief then.
Well, my initial thoughts were that it should have been a good goal. Should have counted. Can't see what the problem was. Get a chance, the director will show us the replay, we can have a look at it.
Line that we are relying on our Venezuelan director for pictures of this tournament.
Well, initially, I'm certain that Claudio Pizarro wasn't offside.
There's a real buzz around the stadium when Peru took the lead, and the debate is still going on about why that attempt by Guerrero was ruled out. Stoyanov. Held there by Farfan. Farfan, who's playing his club football, of course, with PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands, has said that he isn't entirely happy with the role which he's got at international level. He plays on the left side of midfield, of course, in the Netherlands, but perhaps here has to do a bit too much defensive work. There's a further problem here for Peru. Sete has gone down.
There didn't look to be any challenge in all of a sudden.
Bathala.
Yeah, Bathala just collapsed in the heap as he pulled something.
It would be a great shame if Bathala has to go off here. The age of 39, remember, playing in his first ever Copa America, but there was nobody near him then. It doesn't look too good for him. Stoyanov. Stoyanov with a shot. Diogo. Pablo Garcia. Stoyanov. Diogo providing the width. Sanchez again diving in there. Peru able to scramble the ball away.
This is better from Uruguay. And you see Batalar is back on the park again, but good play from from Uruguay, starting to look for the equaliser. And the word we're getting here from the sidelines, Tony, is that they think Claudio Pizarro was offside. I wasn't sure he was. I thought he was on, but as I say, we'll get a look at that later.
Moments of real controversy in this first half in the Metropolitano Stadium in Merida in Venezuela. Opening game of the Copa America 2007. The host of Venezuela are in action next against Bolivia. Second of the two fixtures on the opening day of the tournament. Done by Pizarro. Diego's had such a good season in Spain with Zaragoza. Perez, who struggled to make an impression in France with Monaco. Dario Rodriguez, who just missed out on the title in Germany with Schalke. Vicente Sanchez. Farfan. Acasiete. Peru now happy to dictate the pace. Slow and cagey start, and then a game that suddenly burst into life when Peru took the lead. That headed goal from the corner kick by Farfan by Vialata. Second goal ruled out. Offside against Claudio Pizarro. The ball put in the back of the net by Paulo Guerra. Mario Rodriguez. Another flag, and this time against Uruguay. And next, of course, we have the host Venezuela against Bolivia. And here is that disallowed goal.
Well, the flag's up already, Tony, on the right-hand side. I think he's given it for Claudio Pizarro offside before Guerrero sticks it in the back of the net, but I didn't think he was offside. When the pass was made, he looked onside to me. I think he timed it perfect, but these things happen in football.
Still a big talking point in this first half. Still a big talking point, of course, is the fact that Peru will be denied the opportunity to play their World Cup qualifying fixtures at altitude in the build-up to the tournament in South Africa. They'll be feeling at the moment that nothing is going their way. That was argued that the precedent has been set, because when Cienciano won the Sud-America Cup a couple of years ago, they had to play at sea level. The South American Federation would allow them to play at altitude.
Sorry, Tony, great defender from Diogo. That was a super run back. He'd got himself forward. He was about 10 or 15 yards wrong side of play, and he made up the ground and got an excellent challenge in to prevent Peru on another good counter-attack movement. Referee was very close to the challenge. A lot of people thought it was a free kick, but referee was happy that he got the ball. Let's see what he does. He wins the ball cleanly.
In need of attention. They did well with Penarol. It led to a move to Valencia. The past 3 seasons he's been at Celta Vigo, and this last season alongside Pablo Garcia. Garcia was loaned out by Fabio Capello. He was brought by Real Madrid initially to replace Claude Makelele and then Thomas Gravesen. Godin. The impression so far of Diego Godin?
They did okay at the back, but they still do not look as hungry as a side, as a unit for me, as Peru. Peru looked sharper and worked better as a unit, closing down better deliveries into the box, certainly get more players forward. And I think if we look at the stats later on, you'll see there's been a lot more shots and crosses from Peru in the opening stages, and I think they deserve their lead.
This is a Peru team short of a vast amount of experience in midfield. No Juan Vargas. He's currently playing his club football in Italy, dislocated a shoulder in training. He's out.
You wouldn't know it from the first half, Tony, the way they've played. They've played with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of belief.
Peru do possess strikers who do have the ability to get them goals in Pizarro and Paulo Guerra. He's lightning quick as well down the left.
Well, Sanchez is not the tallest player. Defending Sanchez, he's jumped into the full back to actually win the free kick. say the Peruvian defence hasn't been overworked at all in the opening half. That's something that the coach of Uruguay, Oscar Tabarez, is going to have to change.
Who's now coaching Peru, played for his country at the World Cup in 1982. It's the first yellow card of the tournament.
It was little on Paulo Guerrero. Or has he caught him with the studs just on the side of the boot?
Yellow then for Diego Lugano, currently playing his club football in Turkey with Fenerbahce, with the runaway champions in Turkey. 9 points clear of Besiktas at the end of the season, which has just ended. Again by Farfan.
It's a waste of one, isn't it?
Uruguay in better shape than they were 3 years ago when the squad minus Recoba and Cheventon threatened to stay at home unless the Federation offered them better bonuses. £2,000 a man apparently they wanted, and the Federation said, OK, if you reach the semi-finals, we'll pay up. Guess what they did? Get to the semi-finals. Incentive enough?
Sometimes it does matter, Tony, but it shouldn't.
Just 1 extra minute then at the end of this first half. First half that has spluttered rather than fired into life. Stoyanov, long range, and tipped over the top by Butrón. Magnificent long-range effort from Fabian Stoyanov.
That's the Stoyanov we saw last season for Deportivo La Coruña. He must be at least 35, maybe 40 yards out, and he really has cracked that. Excellent piece of goalkeeping. The ball moves a lot, and Butrón makes a superb save.
The test of any goalkeeper is how he can keep his concentration, particularly when he's been inactive. There might be more work here for Butrón to do at the end of this first half. Uruguay searching for an equaliser. There might well have been 2 goals down. Certainly Peru thought that they were 2 up when Guerrero put the ball in the net. Offside flag raised against Claudio Pizarro, but by that point Peru had already taken the lead. Peru with the opening goal at this Copa America 2007. It's been scored by Miguel Villalta, and it's Peru who are in front in Madeira. It's Uruguay 0, Peru 1.
Been a good first half, hasn't it? It's a good start to the Copa America 2007. Lori Sanchez and Gus Poyet are here. We'll be hearing from them. It's Peru who lead the way. Much joy for them, but should it have been more? Plenty to look back on. That's coming next. Mexico kicking it all off. Ecuador against Chile. That's all live for you from 11 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Right now, we're in the Estadio Metropolitano, and it's Peru who lead the 14 times joint record holders, Uruguay, by a goal to nil. Lori Sanchez and Gus Poyet with me in the studio. Lori, Uruguay nearly got themselves back in the game at the end of the first half. Stoyanov almost did to Peru what he did to your team this time last year.
This is identical, to be fair. When we played them last year, he's had this shot from 40 yards. As I say, he's done exactly the same. Come inside against us, and he's shot from there, and it's gone right in the corner between the crossbar and the post. My president turned around to me after the game and said, "Thought the goalkeeper could have done better." Butrón has done well there to keep that out. But as we said earlier, that's their only effort on goal in the first half, which shows how well Peru have done to keep Uruguay at bay in that first half.
What do Uruguay need to do, Gus? Diego Forlan, is he happy in this formation that he's being played in?
No, Diego needs to move around. He needs to play out of another striker. Uruguay playing this system 4-3-3 makes Diego to play too stuck in the middle, stuck in there. Probably now, if things they don't change quite quick, we're gonna see probably Sebastián Abreu, who is a tall, big striker to play in the middle, and maybe give Forlan a little bit more freedom. But I'm sure we're gonna see a different Uruguay now in the second half.
If they didn't know they're in a game, they certainly will by now. Uruguay, 14 times winners of the Copa America, joint record holders, are losing at half-time to Peru by a goal to nil. What will the second 45 produce? Let's rejoin our commentary team, Jerry Armstrong and Tony Jones.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, there's plenty for Oscar Tabarez, the Uruguayan coach, to ponder at half-time. Uruguay left it late to secure a draw against Mexico in the opening fixture 3 years ago. Montero with the equaliser after 88 minutes in a fixture against Mexico. Then they beat Ecuador, lost to Argentina. Stoyanov was one of the goal scorers that night. He had that great shot at the end of the first half, of course, which could have made it 1-1, but then Uruguay conceded too late on, and they squeezed into the second phase as one of the best placed third place finishers. Plenty of Venezuelan support in the stadium as well, as you might expect. This ground that holds 42,500. The Venezuelan president, Hugo Chavez, said that his country were prepared to pay $1 billion to build 2 new stadiums, to improve 7 others, and to renovate the airports in the country and make sure that everything was in place for the tournament. First time that the Copa America has been held in Venezuela. The competition's 91-year history.
Well, there doesn't look to be any changes, Tony, in this Uruguayan side. I think Oscar Tabarez is going to give them 15-20 minutes second half before he rings the changes. But I just feel there's quality up front for Uruguay. They've just got to get service to him. Certainly Stoyanov and Diego Forlan need a lot more service, and they haven't had that. Partially because it's been good defended by Peru. They're just coming out on the pitch now, but also because I think Uruguay can do a lot better.
I think Uruguay might be making a switch at the start of this second half. We saw a glimpse out of Christian Rodriguez, who's been playing in France with Paris Saint-Germain. Just 21 years of age, one of the upcoming stars of the Uruguayan national squad.
Well, he does come on up front. I have to say, Vicente Sanchez on the left side was disappointing for me in the first 45 minutes. I just wonder, will it be he who makes way?
Uruguay have had 2 weeks of preparation for this tournament. They met up initially in Montevideo. Tabarez, who was appointed 14 months ago, first to bill for the Copa and then for World Cup qualifying there as the Peruvian coach. Uribe, second spell in charge for him. Black Diamond, he played for Peru at the World Cup in 1982. He's coached Lima and also coached in Colombia and Mexico. He's got plenty of experience. The referee here, Carlos Almeida, who was in charge of the final when Argentina played Brazil 3 years ago, won by Brazil in a penalty shootout. One of those officials who was fast-tracked to the top by the South American Federation. He's still only 36. It's his 10th season as an international referee. It doesn't happen too often in the UK or certainly in Europe, but it's a significant switch by the governing bodies worldwide to give younger referees the opportunity to make progress to the top very, very early in their careers. In fact, the referee this evening is 3 years younger and one of Peru's Copa America debutants, Juan Carlos Bathala. He's featuring in the competition for the first time at the age of 39. There's a scare during the first half when he went down clutching his ankle, but he was okay to continue until half-time. We're now just about all set to get the second half underway. And Uruguay, Jerry, with plenty to do.
They've got all to do for me, Tony, to be honest. As I say, They have got quality players, but they've got to get service to them.
So Peru ahead at half-time. They might have been 2 up as well. Seeing on the evidence of the replays which we showed during the interval, they should have had a second goal. And they're looking for a second goal here right at the start of the second half. They're also looking for a penalty kick as well.
Well, I'd like to see that again. What a start that would have been for the second half for Peru. Strikes in there, keeper fumbles it. Now, is he fouled on the off the rebound? Because certainly it was Diogo, Carlos Diogo, who was involved in it. And a yellow card.
There's the half-time switch that Peru have made. It's Christian Rodriguez who's come on and who's now got a... Well, surely he's not got a caution. Well, that should be confirmation that he was on as a substitute at half-time.
Yeah, he was fouled as well.
Can Uruguay possibly get back into this game so early in the second half? They've got that chance and they've been denied again by a wonderful stop. Well, Butrón, who saved Peru at the end of the first half, has done the same again here at the start of the second half.
Well, it's a speculative shot, great effort. And then the defender, John Calaquillo, was the one who whoofs it away. Well, there's the overhead kick.
Well, what a start that would have been for Christian Rodriguez, who's just come on at half-time as a substitute for Uruguay.
The coach, certainly Oscar Tabarez, would have patted himself on the back. I think it was the first touch from the substitute.
Christian Rodriguez has had a disappointing time in France in the season that's just ended. There was a yellow card for Pedro Garcia, who was involved in that earlier claim for a Peruvian penalty. It's all happening at the start of the second half. Rather laboured beginning to the opening 45 minutes, but now we really do have a game on our hands. Forlan. Easily dispossessed. See that tangling. Pablo Garcia. Pablo Garcia has just been cautioned.
It's Pablo Garcia and Pedro Garcia involved.
This game hasn't been short of talking points, with Peru feeling that they should have had a second goal scored by Paulo Guerra. Assistant already raised a flag. Wrongly, we felt, for an offside against Claudio Pizarro. After Peru had gone in front. Vialta, the goal scorer. Big central defender coming forward and converting a far-fan cross. Uruguay, who created very little before Stoyanov had a shot well saved by Butrón at the end of the first half, and now the Uruguayan substitute, Rodriguez, Christian Rodriguez, going close to getting an equaliser.
Well, this is definitely within range, Tony. You can see the goalkeeper, Fabian Carini's looking to get 4 or 5 in the wall.
Carini on his toes, looking for a bit more protection. Pedro Garcia just getting a playful kick in the back of the legs. Jefferson Farfan is poised. It's a decent thump as well by Farfan. Carini watched her over the top.
Thought for a second he got a touch on it there, but close, but no cigar. Gets it up, but can't get it at depth at the vital second, and it looked like Carini had it covered. Worth an effort.
Made his senior debut at the age of just 16. Alianza Lima secured a move to the Netherlands, joining PSV Eindhoven. Well spent by PSV, just $1 million it cost them. lifted to the Peruvian title in 2004. He's just entered the Eredivisie season with 21 goals. Steinoff again prepared to have a go. Far more straightforward for Butrón.
Well, it's a different Uruguay second half, and certainly the substitute has made a massive difference for me, Christian Rodriguez, and it's all Uruguay in the opening 5 minutes of the second half.
Steinoff again. They'll go well forward to provide some support.
Well, there's a shot, but keeper had it covered. Diego Perez. Pretty predictable.
Steinoff again. Just to get the crossing, but it's been comfortably dealt with by the goal scorer.
Just look at the urgency, Tony, between Uruguay now. You know, whatever the coach, Oscar Tabarez, said at half-time, it's working. Certainly an injection of pace there on the right-hand side from the Steinoff. Lovely little turn, got a decent cross in, and now they're snapping at their heels, looking to get this equalising goal.
Really, that Uruguay makes such a sluggish start to this game, because Tabarez has been saying in the build-up to this competition that a good team needs pace and tempo, and having played 12 friendly fixtures since he took over as coach, they should know exactly what they want from him. Charge of the free kick. Another opportunity for Yatta to go forward. Paliakia also in there. Should have been comfortable for Carini. Had some rain in Venezuela today. Temperatures expected to drop to around 15 degrees by the end of the evening. 2 games on this opening night of the 2007 Copa America. 2 games in Group A. Next it's Venezuela versus Bolivia. Mexico, Brazil, Ecuador, Chile on Wednesday evening, and the United States against Argentina and Paraguay against Colombia on Thursday. Peru opening Uruguay up again, and that would have been a glorious finish had Pizarro been able to convert it. Beautifully set in by Guerrero.
Well, that's a quality ball from Guerrero, and I actually felt he got there. Pizarro sticks his left out, but he fluffs it. Tony doesn't get proper contact on it, and that looked like it was a little side foot volley get into the back of the net. And they've had 2 or 3 good chances, Peru. They've had a good goal disallowed as well in the first half. And that man's made a difference as well for me. The number 7, Christian Rodriguez, since he's come on, Uruguay down the left-hand side are looking like a force. Game on.
Uruguay having made a half-time substitution, creating a couple of openings at the start of the second half, but Peru now beginning to find some room and trying to exploit the gaps that are being left by the Uruguayan defence. It's a tournament which has been eagerly anticipated in Venezuela, United States and Mexico, the invited guests in the 12-nation competition. Argentina certainly have the stars. They've got all their big stars out there. Uruguay trying to make some inroads now. And again, it's their substitute, Christian Rodriguez.
He's having a hell of an impact in this game, hasn't he? Really, he's playing on the left side, but here he is down the right side, putting pressure on the defence, working Alberto Rodriguez, and then working the goalkeeper. But he's got a good attitude, he's got a bit of pace, and he's livened it up.
Only the 9th time that he's featured for his country. He's similarly 21. Targeted Penarol, aged just 18, and he was the Uruguayan Player of the Year 3 years ago, so his potential, which was quickly spotted by the coach Tabareth when he took over. Diogo in unfamiliar territory now. Just over 10 minutes of the second half play. Peru still leading by a goal to nil. Now for Paulo Guerrero. Garcia has already been cautioned in the second half.
Well, he doesn't need to make that challenge, Guerrero. And he can have no complaints about the yellow card.
Time for a further substitution. This time the change is being made by Peru. This one is because of an injury to Pedro Garcia. He has just been cautioned, but you can see he's limping off. Juan Carlos Marinho coming on his place. Diogo. It's a straight swap this by Peru. Marinho is a midfielder who played in Argentina for Launasan, Argentinos Juniors, before returning to Peru last year. Take a general look at the tournament, Jerry. Where do you see the likely winners to be? Do you think that Argentina will have the edge over Brazil because of the quality of the squad that they've got here?
Well, they've got the quality players, you know. They've got so much quality on the side, it's untrue. Their squad looks the strongest. But you also have to have the attitude, and you have to have players who are fresh and organised. But Brazil, who have won it 3 out of the last 4 tournaments on a bit of a roll, they're always going to be a threat. And there's always a couple of surprises, maybe Mexico or USA. We just have to wait and see.
States playing Argentina on Thursday.
Pizarro's going to get a yellow
challenge.
Yep. Split second too late. I think he made a genuine attempt to win it, but
yellow card for Claudio Pizarro, who's on his way to Chelsea. Scored his 100th goal in Germany on the final day of the Bundesliga season. It was a disappointing campaign for Bayern Munich. Kio down and hurt. That seems crazy. Yellow card for Dario Rodriguez, who got some of the ball then.
I think he tried to win the ball, didn't he? He's got his body in and seems very harsh.
Rodriguez are just catching Calaquia. For Dario Rodriguez, yellow as well for the skipper in the first half, Diego Lugano. A lively opening to the start of the second half, but pace has dropped again.
It's Uruguay, if any, that's forcing the pace now, and I think Peru's quite happy to absorb the pressure and try and hit them on the break. They've got two guys up front who can cause problems and score goals.
Just 2 of the 12 games that they've played since Tabarez was appointed as coach.
That's a good challenge from Mourinho, the sub. And they win the throw-in as well. Uribe on the bench, and he's got to be happy with his first 45, but it's not over yet. No, this is a chance for them.
Pizarro, the skipper. Looking for Farfan. Shot was thudded against Diogo, and it's broken nicely, this, for Uruguay. Stoyanov. No way beyond Cassiete. Positive run by Christian Rodriguez. What a difference he has made to Uruguay during this second half. Forlan trying to get him in with the return pass. By Guerra. And back by Diogo.
It's a bad challenge. Well, he's given the free kick, but he's not given him a yellow card, Rodriguez, and Farfan too quick for him. Not a lot of consistency there from the referee. That's just as bad as some of the other challenges we've seen.
It certainly seemed a far heftier challenge by Alberto Rodriguez than the one by Dario Rodriguez of Uruguay, which produced the last yellow card.
He will have a striker goal from here.
5 now in Buitron's defensive wall. The ball has done its job. Buitron made that magnificent save at the end of the first half from Stoyanov, and was then called into action just after the interval when Christian Rodriguez tested him. Diego ready to make his move. He's bounced away off Forlan.
I think he was surprised he got a free header. He couldn't direct it on target. There's a lot more incident in this second half, Tony. It's just taken 20-25 minutes for the game to come to life in the first half, and now we're starting to see some of the qualities from Uruguay, but they've got to take some of these opportunities they're creating.
They felt that Uruguay should have the edge in midfield. Guerra again. Sloppy defending by Uruguay.
Well, he's done well, Guerrero. But it was poor defending initially from Diego. Diogo, sorry, and he looked a little bit slow to get onto the ball.
The Altigas again gone for. Taken by Carini. He's done his best to get Stoyanov away. Christian Rodriguez providing the help.
Well, Rodriguez and Stoyanov in the second half have done well initially. There's the shirt pulling on Mourinho from Pablo Garcia.
Cassiete. Dario Rodriguez. Stoyanov. Farfan with time just to have a look up. See what's on here for Peru. Trickery from Guerrero. Uruguay getting bolder, getting more adventurous in their pursuit of an equalising goal.
And they're also looking to make a sub as well. Uruguay got a player stripped off on the sidelines. Tony ready to come on.
Unable to keep the ball in play, and Uruguay will now try and make that substitution. Sanchez is going off. Canobio was the player who went off at half-time. Abreu coming on in his place.
Well, this is a really positive move from the coach, Oscar Tabarez. El Loco Abreu used to play for Deportivo, big centre forward, put himself about, and Diego Forlan will benefit from that, I'm sure.
Uruguay trying to be flexible. Or was there a nudge inside the penalty area then?
Looks like it was great defending from John Galacchio. Let's have a look. He stands his ground and just allows Pablo Garcia to bump into him. Clever piece of play, and this is what we expected from Uruguay. But still 1-0 to Peru.
There's Abreu who'd made the run inside the penalty area. Uruguay much more positive and creating more openings, but few clear-cut chances.
He's made a superb impact for me, Christian Rodriguez. What a second half he's having.
Stoyanov with a corner kick, fisted away by Boutron. Back come Peru now. Fall forward with this attack.
Coming in there, studs up, accidentally catches him, but Dario Rodriguez knew about that one. And still not moving too well.
Rodriguez kept suggesting that he won't be able to continue. Teammates showing their concern as they gather around.
Well, they're both brave, both going in. Looks like he gets caught on the knee. I think it's an accident. And Uribe must be slightly concerned the second half hasn't gone as he expected, but the one plus is that Uruguay haven't scored.
Problem for Dario Rodriguez. At the moment, Uruguay down to 10 men. By Vialta, scorer of Peru's goal. Long range shot, and what a goal! Oh, what a fantastic goal that was! Beautifully taken, and it's the substitute Juan Carlos Marinho who's got it. His first international goal, and what a goal!
Well, it's come against the run of play, Tony, but I tell you what, it's an absolute screamer. Nothing else in his mind except hitting it, bang, and the movement on the ball. And I tell you what, the goalkeeper Fabian Carini will be disappointed he's beaten at the near post, but it's a fabulous strike, right in the postage stamp.
Juan Carlos Marinho, his first international goal. Peru now leading by 2-0. They felt they should have been 2 up at half-time because they had one ruled out for an offside. That was put in by Guerrero. after Pizarro had been put through by Farfan. No arguments about that one at all.
I think Mourinho will score a much better goal than that one to win his international career. Now here we go again.
Stoyanov. Forlan. Just look at the number of white shirts that Peru have got back now. Stoyanov again. Help done by Christian Rodriguez.
Well, Uruguay are really piling the pressure on. This is a strike from Mourinho. What a fabulous goal. Absolutely brilliant.
The goalkeeper is complaining bitterly that he was impeded then as Forlan tried to challenge for the corner kick.
Isn't it funny, Tony, 70 minutes gone and Oscar Tabarez said that Peru were good going forward, but they weren't particularly good at the back, and they've defended so well. Sometimes that consolidates the team and the players, and they're putting their foot in the way and their body in the way, and they're still denying Uruguay, who probably deserve a goal.
Peru have clearly learned their lessons from 3 years ago when they were 2 down in their opening fixture against Bolivia before they pulled back with 2 late goals to make it 2-2. Now it's Uruguay. I've got the job of trying to fight back here against Peru. And they won't do it with efforts like that from Diego Forlan.
Well, it's a shame he had a pass on the right-hand side to Stoyanov, but he only had one thing in his mind, and that was going for goal.
This is the first game of the 2007 Copa. The next one is the host Venezuela against Bolivia. It's been a good start to this competition. A nervous opening 10 or 15 minutes or so, but then Peru were able to impose themselves in a way that perhaps many didn't anticipate they would.
They set their stall out, you know, they had the early goal. They should have had a second goal. Second half starts, they know Uruguay's going to push forward, which is exactly what they've done. They've hit them on the counter-attack a couple of times, didn't work out for them initially, and then against the run of play, we've seen a sensational goal from Mourinho, the substitute.
Uruguay have been semi-finalists in 2001 and 2004, even though they really did struggle to make an impression initially in World Cup qualifying, although they eventually made the playoff against Australia, losing that shootout, of course. The final preparatory game for this Copa America was against Australia. By Vilches. Now with everybody back. Christian Rodriguez. Stoyanov. Diogo is pushed further forward following that half-time substitution. And towards Forlan. Caliaco with Abreu. So nearly had the chance to score with his first touch of the ball, having come on as a substitute. And now he's won the ball back for Uruguay. Forlan has gone down hurt. Alberto Rodriguez has given the ball away. Who's given the nudge in the back then.
It was from Guerrero. Just wonder if Uruguay could get a goal back. It would certainly be a nervous final 15 minutes for Peru.
Stoyanov. He's never afraid to have a go. Less than 50 minutes now for Uruguay to try and save this opening fixture.
As if he did catch him, Stoyanov did catch Vilches, Walter Vilches, but the referee wants him to get on with it.
Stoyanov, who first played for Valencia when he made the move to Spain, subsequently moved on to Cadiz where he was on loan, and then Deportivo La Coruña, featuring in the Copa for the third time. To make a further change. Dario Rodriguez. It's Christian Rodriguez. So effective after coming on at the start of the second half. Abreu trying to make his presence felt in the middle.
Well, he's climbing all over the defender, and that's a foul.
Skipper who's going off, Claudio Pizarro. There's Mendoza coming on in his place. Mendoza, who was regarded as Pizarro's regular partner in attack before the emergence of Jefferson Farfan and also Paulo Guerrero, striker who's made the move from Bayern Munich to Hamburg. Pizarro on his way from Germany to join Chelsea.
Yeah, Mendoza's a straight swap for Pizarro, both strikers. Same formation, fresh legs in the final 13 minutes of the game.
Far between for Mendoza in the last couple of seasons. Overshadowed both by Farfan and Guerrero. Playing this cup football in Ukraine. It's a Belgian cup winner with FC Bruges. Rodriguez has decided to leave this free kick to Stoyanov. Vigano also ready to make his move. They've got the touch on that. The assistant was in two minds about which way that should be awarded and waited to get confirmation, I think, from the referee first.
Yep, the referee was in a better position. He saw who come off last. He made the decision for the linesman. Bailed them out. That's what it's all about, working as a team.
It was bailed out during the first half when Peru had that goal disallowed.
That's another story, Tony.
Valid attempt by Paulo Guerrero, cancelled out. Assistant saying that Claudio Pizarro was offside when Jefferson Farfan put the ball through to him. They suggested otherwise. Peru have been able to establish a 2-goal lead, and what a second goal it was by Juan Carlos Mourinho. Stoyanov has gone off then. Paulo Vargas has now come on in his place, and it's going to be all change. Jefferson Farfan going off to be replaced by Juan de la Haza. Uruguay's French contingent. Didn't play much football in France in the European season which has just ended.
He's asking a little bit more Uribe from his players. 2-0 up. Good to take maximum points from the opening game. Tony, as you said at the start, it does take the pressure off Peru and piles a load of pressure on Uruguay. But they don't need to do anything silly, just keep it tight. They've defended really well. Rode their luck on 2 or 3 occasions. 2-0 up.
Pushed just 4 into the Uruguayan penalty area for this. Mourinho's initial attempt was a wonderful strike when he made it 2-0 for Peru, and if they got hold of that, it would have been an even more spectacular attempt.
He's just wondering where the marking was that he was able. There was 2 of them actually queuing up to have a shot at goal. Could have taken it on his chest and did what he wanted with it.
Start for Peru. His next fixture is against the hosts Venezuela on Saturday. It's their opening phase against Bolivia on Tuesday of next week. Christian Rodriguez. Pereira was doing the pushing.
Shoving it back from Loco Abreu.
Twice winners of the Copa America. I don't think anybody would suggest that they'd win it this time around. 25 years ago since they last reached the World Cup finals, and the coach has said that that will be his priority. This is just a stepping stone. It's the first brick in the wall, if you like. South American qualifying is long and begins almost as soon as next season starts. Mendoza. It's a great luxury for the coach, though, isn't it, Jerry, to have players like Mendoza, who's got the pace and the ability, similar to Farfan, to come on as a substitute, and also when Mourinho is so lively in attack.
The substitutions have been good, I've got to say. When you look at the strike from Mourinho, what a sub that is. Good ball. Mendoza.
Garnet was given a nudge then, surely. Quickly back to his feet, the skipper. Some familiar faces missing for Uruguay this time around, of course. No Cheventon. Copa on the injured list. Pedro Montero at the back is retired from international football. Of course, let's not forget Dario Silva as well, who lost a leg in a car accident last year. Mendoza again. Pereira.
Starting to look a little bit ragged at the back, Uruguay, as they're pushing players forward, and it's easy for Peru to hit them on a counter-attack. See here, Diogo prevents Guerrero going anywhere. Free kick, chance for a strike at goal. I'm sure he won't turn it down.
Farfan, of course, would be first in line to take the free kick, but he's now been substituted. Can Peru claim a third goal? Just over 5 minutes remaining.
Not with a strike like that. That's the goal scorer, Mourinho. He's looking to bend it. He's looking to get his foot round and bend it from right to left, but he comes right across the ball, and not the technique he was looking for.
It's 2 years since these teams last met. There was a goalless draw in Lima. This Copa meeting was won by Peru. That was back in 1997. Real success in Bolivia. Here they lead by 2 goals to 0. Might have had more. Certainly, we all felt that in the first half, Guerrero had a valid attempt disallowed.
Yeah, it was definitely a goal for me. The funny thing is, Uruguay have definitely played better in the opening stage of the second half, and the second goal came against the run of play, and it's really knocked the stuffing out of them.
This is a Peruvian team desperately short of midfield experience. Juan Vargas dislocated his shoulder in training. Nobby Solano, of course, is retired from international football, although the coaches hopefully will return for the World Cup qualifying programme. Six midfielders in the Peruvian squad before this game. Between them, they had 17 caps in all. Those are caps of the way in which they've been able to take charge and dominate a Uruguayan team who've been able to make the most of the little possession they've had in this second half. Here's Forlan.
Doesn't matter who gets a strike, and there's always a Peruvian shirt or a body in the way. And that's been good from their point of view tonight.
By Vilches.
Not sure who caught him, but it was definitely fired Mourinho. Another one who's been an impact player second half. Tony, yeah.
No goal he scored. Juan Carlos Mourinho, on as a second half substitute here for Peru. Mendoza, back across the face of goal. It's a third goal for Peru, and it's been scored by Guerrero. Simplicity itself in the end.
Well, they were stretched at the back, Uruguay, and it was good football. You've got to say that. 2 or 3 opportunities like that. Uribe, the coach off the bench, celebrates that. A wonderful victory this is going to be for Peru. But there's the initial play from Guerrero. Finds Mendoza. Unselfish play, squares it into the box. It's a tap-in. But it's a simple goal, as you say, Tony, but it's a great goal.
Paulo Guerrero, who was denied a goal in the first half when the assistant on the offside raised his flag for an offside. Wrongly, we felt, after Pizarro had initially been put in by Farfan. Now has some reward, deserved reward as well for him and Peru. They've established a 3-goal lead.
Well, I think the coach, Oscar Tabaret, is going to have to keep his mouth shut in future. They've defended really well. Almost 90 minutes on the clock, and they've got bodies behind the ball, and they've played their system, and they've been energetic, and they've scored their goals, and they're going to be worthy winners.
And by Christian Rodriguez. Big shout from the goalkeeper, but a poor attempt to punch clear. Back in by Forlan. Mendoza. Guerrero again. They're looking for a fourth now, Peru.
As we say, because Uruguay push players forward, they've left themselves short at the back. There's opportunities to hit them on the break, and Peru are doing that very well.
Yellow card for Mourinho, I think, then. 3 extra minutes we'd have at the end of the second half. Eye-catching performance from Peru. Uruguay were certainly the favourites to start this Copa America with a win.
You always get surprises, particularly in the first game of the competition. You know, having good players on the park's only one thing. You have to want to play. You have to play as a team. And Uruguay were second best in the first half hour of the game. Find themselves 1-0 down. Should have been 2-0 down. And now eventually, this game is beyond them.
Pick of the 3 goals, undoubtedly their second, scored by Juan Carlos Mourinho. Plays his club football in the rarefied atmosphere high in the hills in Peru. He hits it with such venom. If he had been playing at altitude, it would have probably broken the back of the net.
Well, you got to say they look well prepared, Peru. They're fit, they're organised, they're confident.
None of the yellow card for Mourinho. The player picks up 2 yellow cards during the first phase of the competition. Will then receive a 1-game suspension. They don't carry forward to the quarterfinals or the semi-finals beyond. I wonder if Oscar Tabarez, the Uruguayan coach, will be regretting some of the remarks he made at his press conference on Monday when he said that Peru were good going forward but vulnerable defensively. Pointed to the fact that they had such limited experience in their midfield. And by Diogo. Peru now defending in even greater numbers. They're 3 goals up. They want to ensure that Uruguay don't score at all.
That's the way it looks like it's going to finish, Tony, and fortunate for Uruguay.
What an impressive start it has been for Peru against Uruguay. Were highly fancied in this opening fixture is Venezuela. Miguel Villalta giving Peru the lead in the first half. A fantastic second goal after half-time by Juan Carlos Mourinho. And then a third deservedly for Paulo Guerrero, who had the ball in the net during the first half, but had it ruled out for an offside given earlier against the skipper Claudio Pizarro. Impressive then from Peru. It's Uruguay 0, Peru 3.
It's a big shock, the fireworks though, celebrating a Peru win. To put it into some sort of context, Uruguay went into this one firm favourites. They've won this tournament 14 times, a joint record with Argentina. Peru have only won this tournament twice, 1939 and 1975, but it's Peru who head the table. It's 1 game down, 25 to go though. Uruguay bottom, coming up Venezuela against Bolivia, Peru's biggest ever win over Uruguay. Their first win in this tournament came in February 1939, 2-1 it was on that occasion, and in that tournament Peru would go on and lift the Copa America trophy. Delighted to say Lori Sanchez and a maybe somewhat forlorn Gus Poyet is with us in the studio. When we come back, we've still got Venezuela against Bolivia to look forward to, the opening ceremony as well. Plus, we look back on triple delight for Peru. They've won the opening game.
What the hell is going on?
Action stations.
Hello, Jack.
Wow. You can say that again.
NASA never tried this.
Isn't it great when you just get to where you need to be without hanging about in queues and wasting time? That's BMI time.
Game on, Roger.
It's big. It's bad. It's a stunker. School for Scoundrels on DVD now.
With the option of 7 seats and on-demand all-wheel drive, it's a premium SUV without the premium. The Chevrolet Captiva range from $16,995.
Stand by.
There's a fine line between winning and losing. Sometimes, just a few milliliters.
This is June. June has agreed to play the role of new Orbit Complete. She's fighting the plaque acid that can attack between brushing. But obviously, plaque is invisible. New Orbit Complete with xylitol helps fight the plaque you can't see.
Resident Evil 4, Wii Edition. The nightmare just got real.
Foster's super chilled. Well, you wouldn't want a warm beer, would you?
You've got 20 seconds to spot the difference. Can you see it yet? Keep checking. Keep checking. Tick-tock, tick-tock. If you didn't get it this time, you could always spot a better insurance deal from over 300 prices at comparethemarket.com. For cheaper car insurance, comparethemarket.com.
All you gotta do is go pick up a kid down in Jersey. That can't be that hard now, can it? Is that your best shot?
Die Hard 4.0 in cinemas July 4.
Go on. Go on. Scotch you instead.
Another corner.
Skybet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Fireworks light up the sky over Merida in Venezuela. That's because Peru have won the opening game of the Copa America 2007. Next up, it's the turn of the hosts. Venezuela against Bolivia. We'll be live to San Cristobal for the opening ceremony as well. That's still to come tonight on Sky Sports 1. Right now, Laurie Sanchez and Gus Poyet have joined me in the studio. Gus, how upset are you by that result? Peru beating Uruguay by 3-0.
Yeah, very disappointing because I was expecting Uruguay to do better, especially the first half. And I think we have to, give some credit to to Peru because they play very well. They have, you know, 3 up front that they know what they're doing. They are very dangerous, and the rest they done the job for them. So yeah, disappointing with Uruguay, but I don't know. You don't imagine how bad it's going to be today in Uruguay. Not only probably the press, because that would be normal, but the whole country as supporters, you know, is bad.
Give us some idea of what's this like. 14 times champions of the Copa America, Uruguay. Their biggest ever defeat to Peru in this competition. What's that like? Is that like Liverpool being beaten by, I don't know, Birmingham City or something like that?
I'm saying, no, it should be some real, even worse, I would say. Not because of Peru, it's because of us. You know, the way that we think that we have to go into every tournament. Like, you know, we said before, it's win or win. And sometimes the other team plays. Sometimes you are not in the best form, or sometimes, you know, it's football, you know, and we know that things happen. So we cannot accept as supporters that Uruguay can lose a game like this one. So I don't know what is going on, but it's something bad in Uruguay now.
No offence meant to Birmingham fans whatsoever. Don't email in, please.
That was a good one.
I didn't mean that. Laurie, Peru, though, let's be fair to them. They took their goals and they took them at just the right moment, didn't they, really?
They did everything right tonight. I mean, as I say, they set themselves up not to get beaten in the first game. They went in front from a set play. Could have had a second one that was given offside but wasn't. Second half, Uruguay have come out and here's the first goal. A bit sloppy marking from Uruguay, but good ball in. Viata over Rodriguez at the far post, and a very well taken goal. Brave header. And you know, they deserved that for their tenacity in the first half, kept Uruguay away from their goal, but caused problems on the other end. The 3 front men were instrumental in what happened. You know, Farfan, Guerrero and Pizarro. I mean, they caused more problems for Uruguay than the Uruguayan forwards caused for Peru. And when they were beaten, the Peru team, Buitron, pulled off some saves that kept them in the game.
The second goal, Gus, came just at the wrong moment for Uruguay. They had a player off, injured in a key position, and they're actually starting to dominate the game at that moment as well, weren't they?
Yeah, we were playing better at that time, but it's bad as a team, you know. When you have a player who is having treatment outside, the whole team has to realize that somebody's missing in there and somebody has to cover. It's no excuses about why he was not a player in there, especially knowing that Christian Rodriguez used to play left back. So as soon as you see your left back going out, you go and you keep his position.
Is that down to the players or down to the coach to make sure he gets his instructions out? Surely a player must know to slot in at that moment.
I think it's natural.
It's natural.
It's natural. I said the game was stopped. It took like a minute to take the player out because it was all the way out. So by that time, the player who has to be on the left is already on the left. Even that player or somebody in the team. Of course, the manager can say something, but I think we were thinking to score, and we didn't realize that it was dangerous.
You mentioned, you alluded, Laurie, to Guerrero's goal in the first half that it was chalked off. Was the 30s just rewards for that, a bit of payback?
The substitutions are good as well. Marino came on and scored, and if we see the third goal, I mean, Mendoza, who came on for Pizarro, was involved with it before got the third goal. Good build-up play, played wide unselfishly, and back across to Guerrero, and he's taken it well. But as I say, the 2 substitutions for Peru worked well, and to be fair, the substitution of Rodriguez for Uruguay also helped them start the second half better. But they deserved, I mean, on their performance today, that they deserved that. I think what happened was that Uruguay probably started off the tournament thinking, we're going to qualify from this group. You know, we'll get into it on our own time. Whereas Peru have started off saying, well, we're going to start from the first minute, and they've caught them cold.
As for Uruguay, Gus, they had their chances. When they did get it on target, they found Buitron, the Peru keeper, in good form as well. What did you make of their chances?
Well, the chances were only one in the first half. It's a long shot distance that the goalkeeper was in the right position. And after that, yeah, we have a few ones. But I'm saying it's not the Uruguay that you want to see. You know, it's not